It is Wednesday. I nearly said Friday then. Wednesday. It is 1 o'clock. Pam's got the giggles. And we're coming to you live from Best Studio at Sippy Downs. Welcome if you're joining us. Today we are going to be talking about... She might have to go and have time out. She's gone for time out. Now you've just got me. Come back. Today we are actually going to be talking about how to make yourself feel better when you're having a bit of a meh day. And when we say meh day, that's the MEH day. And having a bit of a filling up your well, making yourself feel better. You can get the giggles hysterically.
All right, hi guys.
So that's what we're talking about, because look, you know, sometimes it's you know, we're feeling a bit fed up, or you're not having the best day in the world. It's okay to acknowledge that and accept the fact that sometimes, you know, we're feeling a little bit off. But what sort of tricks and things do we do in order to make ourselves start feeling a little bit more comforted? Because quite often when you're feeling a little bit out, which I actually was last week as well, when you're feeling a little bit out, it's because maybe you're not having that self-care. Maybe you're not looking after the things that you need to look after. It's kind of like a little yellow flag that goes up. So that's what we're talking about today. If you composed yourself.
Composed myself. How do I make myself feel better when I'm having a day? Just have spontaneous laughter outbreaks and then take a while to maintain composure.
You like winding me up?
Well, I like winding Em up, because when I've winded Em up enough, tight enough, then she'll say something or do something and I'll just lose it. I'm going to maintain composure.
Yes. Look, do you know what I like to do? And you know, and sometimes, and don't you find this is the case, that when you are feeling like that, it's actually harder to go and do the things sometimes that you actually need to do in order to make yourself feel better, because sometimes it's a little bit like wearing one of those hair shirts and you think to yourself, oh, I'm going to sit in this for a bit because I like a little bit of self-punishment. So what I like to do when I know I'm feeling a bit off is I get up in the morning and I get out early. And I go for a walk down the beach. That's a real big thing for me. Watch the sunrise. I mean, come on, I'm in Queensland. Sunshine Coast. I mean, the beaches are pretty spectacular, right? And I go and watch the sunrise. And it's not just about like the colours and, you know, all the things that are happening there. A lot of it is to do with, it's like sort of the mental picture that kind of like, it's a brand new day. Anything can happen. You know, I can paint the picture how I want to paint it. And it's a real nice visual, sort of spiritual type of reminder. Even in the cold, I'll take my shoes off and I'll walk along and usually put my feet in the sand and in the water. Just to, you know, kind of get a few of those natural elements, remind me that it's not all material stuff. Sometimes, you know, the small stuff's good. So that's one way. And I find that sets me up for the day, and a good coffee. Followed by a long black.
I'm pretty sure there's a saying about coffee and starting the day. Yeah, sometimes we just wake up and we feel nah, right? I think my title was, you know, the hair sage word. We were going to discuss some things when before I started laughing, and Em said that's probably a little bit X-rated and
or R-rated.
Or R-rated, and I shouldn't be discussing that. But connecting with people, I think, you know, that's important. When you're not feeling great, quite often we try to, you know, like you said, you want to sit in and feel it. And yes, of course. Remember, I'm very loud when it comes to living in duality. And remember, the meh is showing you something that you need to expand from, right? But sometimes when we're in the meh for too long, we then keep ourselves away from the people that matter most, because we don't want to rub off on them, or we don't want them to know. But just that hug, just that eye contact, just that interaction with someone already raises your spirits. You know, a good laugh, a good old belly laugh where you just, and you know what, laughing is contagious. You know, when you get one of those good laughs and you just get going, and then eventually you're laughing at yourself for laughing as hard as what you're laughing, and that for me is a good pick-me-up, you know. It puts a smile on my dial, and I do believe that some humour is a really good way for you to move through. And I'm not saying make a joke of everything. Of course, some things are serious, but certainly lighten the mood, you know. What about a couple of dad's jokes if you have to? Always have them handy. You just never know.
No, I'm sitting there trying to think, is she going to whip a dad's joke out now?
I promise I'm not whipping a dad's joke out, because they might just be R-rated, okay? No, I cannot make jokes because mine are, you know, R-rated. So no jokes. But, you know, we're having a good laugh. And if you can't connect to other people, and with modern technology, go and watch a funny YouTube video, or, you know, go watch a comedy, or, you know, go and read some jokes. Or it's great to see all the inspirational stuff out there, and they always make you feel good, but just sometimes you just need to laugh. And once you're laughing, it's great. And yeah, go to the beach. You know, I walked on the beach this morning, which I do pretty much every morning, rain, hail or shine. And on the beach this morning, I did just start laughing. There were a couple of dogs in front of me doing, just being dogs, and it was quite funny seeing the owners' overreaction to these two dogs wanting to play, and I burst out laughing. Needless to say, they looked at me like I was a little bit crazy and said, "Oh, yes." And I said, no, I just think it's really funny how the dogs are playing. But it was really funny how the dogs were playing. It was actually really funny how they were reacting to these dogs wanting to play. But that really does pick me up, you know. It's like a good kick up and go, hey, not only am I in nature, I'm enjoying the beach. As you said, Sunshine Coast, we've got some of the great beaches around.
It's amazing.
But I had my good laugh. I had my good giggle. And, you know, and I knew you were coming over. And I knew that there was a couple of wind-me-ups that could happen.
See what I have to put up with.
And I could wind her up, and, you know, and eventually I could look at her and start to laugh, and everything is better. So, and that's maybe one of my coping mechanisms, and that's fine. We all have our thing that we have to do. I'm not afraid to admit it. I realized quite a profound thing today, that I am the epitome of self-punishment. I hold myself to a standard. You know, if you're into astrology and you can look at that, I'm a Leo and an Aries and you know, all these things, and pretty headstrong. Like to know how things are going to work out, and so when things don't work out that way, or if I've made a mistake, I have the unique ability to really climb into myself and really almost to borderline torturing, and the realization of where that came from. You know, it was in as a child, it very much was the when your dad comes home, then he will deal with us. Now, I'm not criticizing or critiquing my parents as they were. I mean, they were great parents and they did their job the best of their ability. But from my point of view, that statement could be made at 7 o'clock in the morning. Wait until your dad comes home. I have had to sit with wait until your dad comes home to face the consequences of something till, 12 hours later. And in that, I've really stepped into finding out that, hang on, my self-punishment is let's take this for as long as possible, because when dad comes home, you'll have the repercussions. Or when, the people involved come over or you interact again, then you're going to get it. So this could be weeks. I mean, I'm not planning on seeing everyone every single day, but sometimes I see someone and a week later I'm going, is it going to come up now? Is, they're going to pull me up for it, or, and this could be for minor things. And in our conversation, going, what are we going to talk about in live? It's like, well, what do you do when you're feeling down? Because my self-punishment, my self-critiquing is definitely something that puts me into a very meh space. And it's going, hang on, stop the bus. You don't have to feel like this. You've said sorry, you've apologized, you've made amends, now let's move on. But yet I still can find myself going back in there. And what I do is go for my walks, have a good laugh, interact with some really good people, have a good cuddle, make some eye contact, because that's important. And going, hey, get out of your own head for 5 minutes, feel what's going on inside you, because you're alive. And you know what? The world didn't end, still going. And what's the saying? From every mistake is an experience that you learn from and you grow from. Well, I too am still learning and growing from my experiences. And I'm also really working on not getting stuck in the story of it. And that's where the big thing comes in. It's so quick to get stuck in the story of what's going on. And even for myself then going, all right, well, you know, you've got all these tools. You should be able to fix this. Stop fixing it. I don't need to fix it. I just need to pick myself up because it's going to sort itself out. I might have to make a few changes here and there. But in saying that, by picking myself up, it's easier to find solutions. When you're still feeling meh, all you can see is problems.
Yeah. Childhood stuff's big though, isn't it? You know, sometimes with the childhood stuff we bring it along, but like the main thing really is to kind of be reflective and understand where you're coming from so that you can make the adjustments that you need to make.
Exactly.
And I think that's really, you know, it's an important thing for all of us as we're doing this inner work, as we're working on, you know, who we are and what we want to be and what resonates with us and what doesn't. You know, that kind of light feeling, yeah, that feels great. No, or that down feeling doesn't feel so good. You know, it's just about that awareness and sort of, and again, we were talking, weren't we, earlier about eating and you know, times to eat, and we were just having like a general discussion on nutrition, and Pam was saying that, you know, you really are starting to listen to what your body needs for that day. And I was saying back to her, well, yeah, me too. I started doing that as well, and, you know, really sort of tuning in and thinking, well, actually, you know, I had a day, I think it was yesterday, I was chopping up carrots, and I gave, my dog likes carrots. I threw a little bit down to the dog, and I took a bite of a carrot, and seriously, it's like everything started singing to me. It was like, oh, this is the nicest carrot I've ever tasted. Probably wasn't, you know. Really, when you put it into perspective, it was just that at that point, that was really what my body was needing. It was needing some fiber, it was needing some nutrients, it was needing some vitamin A, whatever, you know, whatever it needed it at that moment. And again, it's not really about, oh, I need to eat more carrots. It's about, actually, I need to kind of really start listening to what I need. And when you start becoming aware, it gets easier. It's always practice. I'm going to tell you this, you know, it doesn't happen overnight, but it can, like the brand new day when you're going down to watch the sunrise, I can paint my picture however I choose to paint it. And so I choose maybe on that day to start listening a little bit more to myself and tuning in on what I need. And that way, like, you know, we all have stuff that goes on in the past, but we can't keep using, and I mean this very lightly, we can't keep using that as an excuse to kind of stay where we are. We have to then, you know, start being aware and start actually thinking to ourselves, well, you know, this, yeah, it does trigger me, and, you know, from years ago, but what do I feel now? What is it that I need to do in order to feel good about that, in order to maybe, you know, it might be you need to learn something or whatever, you know, everybody's lessons are different.
Yeah, definitely.
But it really is one of those, like, be aware, start tuning into yourself, start working out what works for you, and do more of the stuff that works for you. Do more of the stuff that works for you and do less of the stuff that doesn't work for you. In your spare time.
It takes you out of your fix-it mode. You know, if we wake up every single day trying to fix ourselves, well, you know what? We're basically waking up every day saying, I'm broken.
Wow.
And if you're going to wake up every day going, what am I going to fix today? Well, what did you break, you know? Yeah, lists are endless. It's not always been easy. You know, this journey hasn't always been easy.
No.
It has been confronting. I'm the first one to say, you know, I'm not afraid to look at my darker aspects and to see some of the areas where I could expand from and grow from, because those are the areas that are teaching me, hey, that's what you... But it's not always pretty, you know. I don't wake up every single morning going, wow, you know. I'd love to be able to do that, and I'm certainly better at it now than what I was 8 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
But in that, it's waking up some mornings and going, oh, hello, what are you trying to show me? I'm not feeling so, all right, so I'm feeling meh. What am I doing? You know, what did I do yesterday? What's changed? What has opened? What has evolved? And where am I going to grow from this? And I do. I love that. You know, it's that. I love certainty. Don't get me. I love certain things. I like certain things. Certain ducks need to be in certain rows. But I love the uncertainty of the knowledge that, wow, what else can I learn?
She's painting her own picture.
I'm painting my own picture. But I love that.
Yeah.
You know, and that makes me, and that picks me up. You know, that's my pickup going, oh, okay, well, so those ducks didn't work out, but guess what? The one uncertainty that I can sit in is what else am I going to learn? Because you never know it's going to reveal itself. And so I go and I celebrate. My pick-me-ups, like I said, is the beach. That's my reflection space, my party space, my live in the moment space. That's where I go into nature. So the beach for me is great. I love the trees and that. I probably do end up at the beach more often because I am surrounded by green and trees. So, you know, it's a different space for me. But I think that's the big thing, is when we are feeling meh, to certainly not try and fix it, but reflect on it and go, okay, what is this and how do we expand from this?
And also with that, you know, another great way I find is if I'm finding that I'm getting into that space and the answers aren't coming, because sometimes, especially in the early days when we started this work, not everything came just like that. It just didn't. No. And then when it, you know, sort of when you're finding that the answers aren't coming, then I can tell you now, you know, by going and taking your mind into something creative is a great way of kind of releasing that pressure from yourself to actually find the answers. So yeah, sure, we're telling you to look in, do the inner work and find the answers. But look, if you're struggling, you know, I'm not much of an artist. Arts and crafts not really my thing, but I will get some colours out and I'll get, you know, I mean, I know people, you like to do the colouring in, don't you? Like the colouring.
Yeah, I love the colouring.
I mean, that's not my thing so much, but like I'll get out the watercolours and start doing a rainbow rather badly usually. But, you know, I don't care, because at the end of the day, I'm sort of just working with colour. And then maybe I'll go and I'll get into the garden. I'll start pulling up the weeds or something. So it's just anything that is about sort of creation. And then what I find is once I've started to do that, and I don't know if there's any sort of sciencey thing that comes back, I can only go from what happens with me, you know, I find that the answers start presenting themselves. Suddenly I'll have what I call like an aha, like an epiphany. Oh, what about that? And it's like, it's probably something to do with left brain, right brain, you know, so when we're in our left brain and we're being a little bit logical and we're trying to fix, we don't feel so much. So when, you know what, go be creative. So you start feeling, and then suddenly things start coming at you rather than you searching for the fix-it mode.
The fix-it mode is problem solving, whereas solutions orientated, being open to that creativity certainly inspires that. So,
Good things.
Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. How often have you felt, man, then when you go, I need to breathe, you actually get this moment and you go, have I actually taken a breath? And it feels so good to fill your body up with some air. Really breathe.
Should we do some? Do you want to do channel breathing now, or should we do that another time?
We'll do that
another time.
Channel breathing. We can't do that.
Oh,
hello. We've got a carrot. We'll dangle the carrot. You'll have to come watch us next time. I do kids yoga with the girls. Lee does yoga. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Breathing becomes a part of that.
Yeah.
Let's do the 4 square breathing.
4 square breathing. And are you gonna is it articulate? Your talk?
I'll talk.
She'll do the talking, I'll do the breathing.
I can breathe and talk.
All right, what am I going to do? Talk me through it.
Okay. Take a nice deep breath in, exhale and drop your shoulders. There we go. For those of you that just discovered that your shoulders are up there, you're a little bit stressed out. So let's drop the shoulders.
Okay, I've got to drop
one
my
of those days.
now.
Yeah, Em's drop the shoulders. All right.
Dropping the shoulders.
Nice. Okay. You can have your eyes open or closed. Doesn't matter. But we're going to do this. Em likes to close her eyes when she breathes. So we're going to take a nice, slow, deep breath in for the count of 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And relax. Now that was just doing it 2 rounds, right? You do that 3 or 4 rounds. Look at her. You see? Now she just wants to sleep.
Do you know, and it's like, you know, coming out of that, just a couple of things, you know. You don't have to breathe in through your nose or through your mouth. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. That's a really important thing. But obviously when you breathe in through the nose, you know, the internal systems clean the air a little bit better. But if you've been like kind of shallow breathing, sometimes breathing in for that amount of time is, you know, even though it's only 4 beats, can be a little bit, you know, hard until that breathing pattern comes in. So,
and remember, the more acidic you are, the harder you'll find it to breathe.
Yeah.
You know, and acid is caused from what we eat, but it's also a cause from how we think and how we process that.
Stress,
so, you know, and exercise is vitally important for us. You know, exercise does create lactic acid. So if you're not breathing in deeply and exhaling properly, you know, efficiently, releasing that lactic acid and releasing that buildup of acid in your body, you tend to become meh a lot quicker because you're so acid forming, and it's really hard to stay vibrant when you're in an acid state, you know. So another important thing that you can look at is, you know, besides we've said the beach and we've said laughter and we've touched on breathing, is seeing that you stay hydrated, because when we're hydrated, the flow through your body is so much more effective and efficient, and you're creating that. We're 70% water, all right? So if you're dehydrated, you can look at a river. When it's flowing freely, it looks good. It looks inviting, you know. You want to participate in that bit of nature. You want to sit next to it. You want to experience. You want to listen to it. Whereas if the riverbed gets a little bit dried up, you know, and things are starting to die around, well, that's what's happening inside our body. You know, we're not functioning at our best. So definitely look at your hydration when you're not feeling 100%. And get hydrated. Support yourself with nourishing food. You know, as Em said, we listen to our body. What do we need? We don't have to follow the next big fad in going, oh, let's just, you know, have celery juice for a month. If that's what your body wants, great. But if that's not what your body wants, then don't do it, because all you're then doing is messing with your mind, and then you're going to start beating yourself up. And remember, our thoughts are things, and so we then create more meh in our life. And on top of that, our body is then going to struggle because it's going to go into fight flight. It's doing something that it definitely doesn't need right now. You know, maybe you do need some of the celery juice, but maybe you need more water, or you might need to throw in some carrots and apples in there. Listen to what your body is asking it to do. Now, one of the big things that I am going to bring up, though, is change will be met with resistance.
That could be a whole other line.
Is a whole other line.
We will touch upon it now, though. Just run through.
Your body is you're going to meet with resistance because you've been doing certain things for a certain amount of time. And so when we're implementing the new changes, like Em said, you know, if you're finding it really hard to breathe, your body's going to be resistant to all this new oxygen because, hey, what are you doing? You know, we're literally airing out all the cobwebs. I'm not used to this. So in that space, certainly do consider that it's going to take practice, like Em said. You know, it didn't just happen overnight for us. We both have worked actively in this process of getting us to where we are today. So, and it's taken some time. And there were some wonderful moments and some dark moments, and you just think, holy cow, I was doing so great, now not. Well, the body is, you will be met with some resistance because you're stepping into a new you, and it's unfamiliar. And that uncertainty, which really gets me going, that uncertainty of what comes next, well, that's that change we're going into. So when you are looking at changing your diet, you're going to start doing good things for you. You may have a detox. That's not your body saying, don't do this. This is your body saying, hey, thank you very much for supporting me. I'm going to clean out.
Clear it out.
And it may you could have the flu or the cold or, you know, tummy upsets. So these things could happen. But again, check in with yourself too. You know, you don't want to leave it that long and find out, but there's some underlying cause that you need to look at as well. You know, it's certainly... It's
a balancing act.
It's a balancing act, but that's why you get a practitioner or facilitator, you know, a support system, because you can bounce off, hey, what's going on, and just finding that confirmation that you're on the right track just lifts your spirits. You know,
Yeah.
it's like this, hey, you're going to be okay. This is normal. This is what's happening. Your body is going through these changes because the resistance barrier is slowly breaking down.
And I think that's the great thing about when you have got a practitioner in tow, is that, we've walked this ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So when you've walked, it's like anything. You know what it's like. If you've been through it yourself, you can become that support system for somebody else, and you can say, yeah, okay, oh yeah, I understand that. I remember that. However, when people get stuck as well, or they think, like you said, that going backwards bit, it's not. It's quite often it's just that you're experiencing the same journey, but you're going out of the journey. Going up the mountain and coming back down. And it happens, doesn't it?
And I think we said it not last week, the week before. It's that realization, that reflection of how far you've come.
Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes something happens, and in how you react to it, you realize how far you've actually come because you're not reacting.
And that's a huge point. That's a massive point, because even though we have the times where we kind of get the meh feeling, or we have this, or most of the journey, and I'm going to be perfectly honest, for me, has just been wonderful. It's just been an eye-opener. I feel more congruent with who I am now than I've ever felt in my entire life. I feel like I actually know who I am. I know what I want, and going forward, it's a great way to be, and that's what really true health comes from. I really do feel that way.
I think so. Hey, we've
got
a lot to say.
Oh gosh. Well, thanks.
So we're going to go.
I think at least half of that was Pam cracking up laughing. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. But it was nice. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us. Those of you that are live, we love you very much. Thank you very much for taking the time out. If you're watching this post live, thank you for setting some time aside to watch. Remember, you can email us, contact us, have a chat. If you're finding yourself stuck in your mare, give us a call. We can have a chat.
And look,
I'll pull out the dad's jokes.
I've got everything set up on the YouTube channel now, so that's now starting to really shape up and come together. I've got a certain a list of people that have come in that I every now and then will send out a little link to. If you like to be part of that list, then just send us a PM. Do it via text. I find that's the easiest way. But I will pop up the YouTube channel as well, so you can just hop on there and subscribe. It's literally brand new, so the more the merrier. And also the live videos are on there too as well, so you can watch them whenever you fancy.
All right. Questions, answers, we're always available, so please don't be shy. We're happy to have a chat. And we will see you next week. So have a wonderful weekend ahead. And we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.